The sound is wrong. It is not the sharp crack of flint on flint, nor the guttural call that signals a successful hunt. It is a wet, hollow rasp that echoes from the deepest, warmest part of the cave. It is the sound of a failing lung, old man, who has faced down cave bears and lead the charge against the great horned bison. Is being undone by something he cannot see, something he cannot spear. He lies on a bed of dry moss and bracken. The great muscles of his chest and shoulders now just contours over a rack of bone. His eyes, once sharp enough to spot a hair in the tall grass at 100 paces, are filmed over with a milky haze. The cold that has seized him is a deep, internal winter, one that the roaring fire at the cave mouth cannot touch. This is a profound moment in hominid history, a test not of strength, but of a nascent, unformed understanding. Outside, the life of the clan goes on, but it is a body moving with its head turned back. A young male, Tuk, sits near the entrance, his powerful hands working a core of chert. With practiced, economical blows, he prepares a flank using the Lavaluvis technique, a method of foresight and precision passed down through generations. Each strike is a testament to the intelligence that allows them to survive in this brutal epoch of prehistoric life. But his rhythm is off. He glances back into the shadows where Old Man lies. He sees not just a failing leader, but a terrifying mirror. Death, for them, has always been an external event. The tusk of a mammoth, the teeth of a lion, the shattering fall from a cliff. It is an opponent. This slow, internal decay is a horror without a face. It suggests that the world's dangers are not only outside the body, but also coiled within. The hunters gather, their spears held loosely. They speak in low grunts and sharp gestures, their eyes tracing the distant movement of Pleistocene megafauna. A herd of wild horses grazing on the steppe. It is a hunt they have made a dozen times, a dance of risk and reward that fills their bellies. But the lead dancer is gone. Old Man's knowledge, where the herd will run when spooked, which animal to single out, the precise moment to throw, is trapped inside his Rutland chest. The other hunters are strong, but they lack his certainty. His absence creates a vacuum, and into it rushes a chilling indecision. The community, a machine built for coordinated action, begins to seize. The gnawing in their stomachs is met by a new kind of hunger, the hunger for leadership, for the confidence that is now turning to dust on a bed of moss. This is a story of early humans, and their first encounter with a foe that strength alone cannot conquer. The rasping stops. The silence that follows is louder than any sound the cave has ever held. It presses in on them. A physical weight. For a long moment, no one moves. They are a freeze of arrested motion. Figures caught between one breath and the next. Old Man is no longer a living being. He is a thing, and the laws of their world, their host, and sentimental rules of survival are clear about what must be done with things that no longer breathe. The body will attract scavengers. The scent of decay will cling to the air, a dangerous invitation to hyenas and lions. The practical thing, the sane thing, is to drag the corpse out, far from the shelter, and let the grim processes of taphonomy reclaim the flesh. It is what these human ancestors have always done. One of the hunters, a thick-set male named Boulder, takes a step forward. His intent is clear, written in the pragmatic set of his jaw. He reaches for Old Man's arm, but a hand shoots out, small and sign red, and grips his wrist. It is the old woman, Flint, Old Man's mate. She does not speak. She does not need to. Her eyes, sunken in a face mapped with the hardships of a dozen ice-age winters, burn with a command that is absolute. She shakes her head, a slow, deliberate motion. This is the hard choice made manifest. The logic of survival versus a new, terrifying impulse. To keep the body is to invite danger, but to cast him out feels wrong. It feels like an act of profound betrayal, not against the body, but against the memory that still hums in the air. The clan watches, paralyzed by this conflict. They see the body, but they also see the great hunter. They fear the decay, but they fear the emptiness more.
Preparing to fight back.
This is the moment where instinct gives way to something more complex. This is a turning point in hominid history. Flint releases Boulder's wrist and turns back to the body. She moves with a strange purpose, retrieving a worn leather pouch. From it, she takes a lump of deep red earth, the soft stone of ochre. She begins to crush it between two river stones, creating a fine, blood-colored powder. The others watch, transfixed. What is she doing? This is not tool making. This is not food preparation. It is something utterly new. She dips her fingers into the pigment and approaches the body, with a tenderness that seems alien in this brutal world. She begins to paint old man's skin, drawing lines of red across his silent chest and forehead. The color of life, smeared on the canvas of death. It is an act of pure, uncalculated foresight. An attempt to preserve something, to ward something off, to make a statement to an audience they cannot see. It is a desperate answer to a question they don't even know how to ask. The debate is over. No one will drag him into the wilderness now. The red pigment on old man's skin is a line drawn in the sand of time. They have crossed it. He cannot be left to the elements. But he cannot remain among them. A silent, decaying sentinel. A new logic must be forged in the crucible of this new fear. Look, the toolmaker looks from the painted body to the hard-packed earth of the cave floor. His mind, so adept at seeing a blade within a stone, now sees a solution, a space within a space. He retrieves a broad, sharpened scapula, one of the many ancient tools used for scraping hides, and begins to dig. The sound of bones scraping against dirt is rhythmic, a funeral drumbeat in the heavy silence. Others join him, using their hands, using flattened stones, scooping away the earth that has been their floor for generations. This isn't an act of excavation, it's an act of creation. They are making a bed, not a hole. It is a moment this evolution documentary seeks to capture. The birth of an idea that will echo through all of prehistory. They work together, a silent, coordinated effort. The young, the old, the hunters, the gatherers, the clan moves as one. They are not just digging a grave. They are hollowing out a space for their collective grief and confusion. When the depression is deep enough, they stop. The moment comes to move him. Tarzan, including Hawk and Boulder, lift the body. The cold stiffness is a shock, a shinu, visceral confirmation of the life that has fled. They lay him gently in the shallow trench, arranging his limbs in a way that feels right. He is not tossed, replaced. His knees are drawn slightly toward his chest, as if in sleep. This is not the disposal of a carcass. It is the careful tending of a memory. It is a profound act of symbolic behavior. Then, Flint comes forward again. In her hands, she holds one of old man's greatest treasures, the massive, curved horn of an ibex he had brought down in a legendary hunt seasons ago, a symbol of his strength, his prowess, his very identity. A thing of immense value. She lays it on his chest, a final offering. These are the first grave goods. A concept so revolutionary it will define the future of Homo sapiens. It is the ultimate act of altruism, giving something precious to someone who can no longer receive it. A testament to a bond that death itself cannot sever. Slowly, reverently, they begin to push the earth back into the hole, covering the body, the ochre, the horn. When it is done, they stand over the mound of disturbed earth, a small scar on the floor of their home. They have not banished a spirit, they have given it a place. They have taken the terrifying abstraction of death and contained it, here, under their feet, turning a place of fear into the first sacred ground. The fire in the cave burns a little warmer tonight, not because it gives more heat, but because the deepest cold has been given a name and a place. That small mound of earth is more than a tomb. It is a fulcrum upon which the human mind has pivoted. It is the first time a community has chosen memory over pragmatism, ritual over instinct. This is the moment a ghost was born, not from the dead, but from the minds of the living who refused to let go. From this act of burial, 1,000 questions will fall like sparks into the long darkness of human evolution. What happens when we close our eyes for the last time? Is there a presence we cannot see? How do we honor those who came before? This is the work of archaeology, to listen to the silence of these graves. If you can hear the faint echo of their questions in this story, then you are a part of this chronicle. Take a moment to record what you have witnessed in the thoughts below. Every voice keeps the fire from dying out. The answers would lead to gods, to kings, to poems, to pyramids. But it all began here, in the dirt of a Neanderthal cave, with an act of love dressed in the clothes of fear. It is the bedrock of our humanity, this profound, desperate need to believe that the end is not the end. We are the dust that remembers, chronicling the moments when the beast first looked at its own reflection. What happens when the new minds discover the graves of the old?